Have you ever stopped to think why, even when you take good care of your health and maintain good hygiene, something still seems to give away your age? It's as if, despite daily baths and all the care you take, some parts of your body insist on sending silent and not at all subtle signals that something isn't right. Sometimes it's a lingering odor, a neglected appearance, small things, but they end up revealing more than you'd like. Now, what if I told you this has nothing to do with aging itself? That perhaps the problem lies in areas you simply haven't been paying enough attention to, and that taking care of them can be much simpler than it seems. Today, I want to open your eyes to something no one talks about, but that can completely transform your relationship with your body. I'm Dr. Ana Laura, and I'm here to talk to you with all the honesty you deserve. Because, look, after years of studying the human body, aging, and well-being, I've learned one thing. Taking care of ourselves goes far beyond aesthetics. It's about respect, dignity, and the genuine desire to live well and autonomously for as long as possible. The 5 areas we'll explore today aren't just hygiene details. They're key points, gateways to infections, circulatory problems, and inflammation that over time erode your health and accelerate aging. And the worst part? Almost no one talks about it. Doctors often assume patients already know, so they avoid discussing the topic. And meanwhile, these small oversights add up and become major problems. But before we dive into these 5 essential areas, I need to ask you one simple thing. If you're serious about your well-being, if you truly want to age healthily and independently, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This conversation goes far beyond hygiene. It's about regaining control of your body and your life, starting with the basics. Let's now talk about the first area, the feet. Yes, the feet. It seems obvious, but they're one of the most overlooked areas when it comes to self-care, and also one of the most important. Have you noticed that walking has become more difficult? That your steps are less steady, or that putting on shoes has become a tedious and uncomfortable task? Most people blame age, but in reality, many of these issues could be avoided or alleviated with simple routine care. Your feet are literally the foundation of your independence. When they start to fail, the rest of your body feels it. Yet many people only pay attention when pain appears, and then, it's a sign that something has been neglected for too long. From a health perspective, poorly cared for feet are a breeding ground for fungi, bacteria, circulatory problems, and even more serious infections. And it's no exaggeration. Studies show that older people who neglect foot care have a much higher risk of falls, loss of mobility, and even developing more serious illnesses. Things like accumulated dead skin, moisture between the toes, poorly trimmed nails. These may seem minor, but they create a perfect environment for pathogens to enter the body, which, once in the bloodstream, can cause difficult-to-treat infections. In other words, taking care of your feet isn't just a matter of comfort. It's a matter of health and safety. When the skin on your feet begins to crack or form thick calluses, it goes far beyond aesthetic discomfort. These changes restrict blood circulation and, when combined with fungal infections that often go unnoticed, can even compromise other areas of the body. But there's one thing almost no one talks about. Taking care of your feet isn't just about preventing problems. It's mainly about maintaining a connection with the world around you. Yes, because well-cared-for feet keep your nerves active. This is what helps you maintain balance, step firmly, and continue walking independently. So when washing them, be careful. Between the toes, over the nails, around the heels, all these little corners deserve attention. This touch stimulates circulation and maintains sensitivity, essential to prevent trips and falls. And remember, technique makes a difference. Warm water, never hot. Use a mild soap that cleans without being harsh. And above all, dry thoroughly between your toes. Moisture there invites fungus. So, a light moisturizer can help keep your skin soft, but avoid applying it between your toes. Excessive cream in these areas can also cause problems. I remember a patient of mine, João. At 73, he avoided even leaving the house because of smelly feet and discomfort when walking. In a matter of weeks, with just a simple daily care routine, the odor disappeared. But the most beautiful thing was seeing the sparkle in his eyes when he told me he could walk to the grocery store again. He regained his confidence. He reclaimed a piece of life he had previously neglected. Now, let's move on to the second critical area, behind the ears, the forgotten corner that everyone sees but you. It's curious how such a small part of the body can say so much. Behind the ears, in that subtle crease, much more than just dirt accumulates. That area bears signs of neglect that, while invisible to you, are quite noticeable to others. And worst of all, it's one of the most prone places for bacteria to proliferate. The skin in this area produces oil, called sebum, sheds dead cells, and throughout the day, retains pollutants from the environment. If this mixture isn't removed regularly, the result is unpleasant odors, irritation, and skin inflammation. But it doesn't stop there. Research shows that chronic neglect of areas like these can trigger inflammatory chain reactions in the body. Inflammation that begins in the skin can spread and impact joints, blood vessels, and even the brain. Yes, you read that right. There's a proven link between chronic inflammation and the progression of diseases like arthritis, heart problems, and even cognitive decline. But there's an even more subtle and profound aspect. When you start to ignore certain parts of your body, even without realizing it, you send yourself a dangerous message that they no longer matter. And this kind of self-abandonment can gradually affect other areas of your life. It starts with a small nook behind your ear, and without realizing it, you're giving up on caring for yourself as a whole. The solution is simple. When bathing, remember this area. Use a soft towel or sponge with a mild soap and gently clean behind the ears. It's a quick, almost automatic gesture, but it represents something much greater, the daily choice to continue taking care of yourself completely. Touch the area behind the ears gently, but firmly. The skin there is thin and sensitive, so don't rub too hard. After cleaning, dry thoroughly with a clean towel, paying attention to that crease where moisture often hides. These extra 30 seconds, which seem so trivial, can make a huge difference. They prevent the growth of bacteria, eliminate odors, and most importantly, reinforce your commitment to complete body care. Now let's move on to Zone 3, the armpits. The intersection of detox, wellness, and social life. The armpits are much more than just a place where sweat accumulates. They're a veritable filtration station. Lymph nodes are located there, helping the body eliminate toxins from the upper body. And when this area is neglected, the problem goes beyond odor. You may, without realizing it, be jeopardizing the effectiveness of your own immune system. The underarm environment is perfect for bacterial growth, warm, moist, and rich in apocrine glands, which produce a type of sweat full of proteins. And that's exactly what bacteria love. They feed on these proteins, and in the process, release substances that cause the characteristic odor. But what most people don't know is that this poor hygiene can lead to low-grade, long-lasting infections that overload the lymph nodes, and over time, weaken your immune system. This means you're more vulnerable to other diseases, even those your body would otherwise have easily dealt with. There's also the psychological factor. When people begin to feel embarrassed about their own odor, they tend to isolate themselves. They avoid social gatherings, stop exercising, and distance themselves from places and people that were once part of their routine. And this isolation isn't just sad, it's dangerous. Studies have linked social distancing to cognitive decline, depression, and reduced life expectancy, especially among older adults. Therefore, caring for your armpits is more than just hygiene. It's a comprehensive health strategy, and there's a technique for that too. Use an antibacterial soap and gently massage from bottom to top. This helps with lymphatic drainage, which is like an internal cleaning of the body. Dry the area thoroughly with a clean towel, and consider using a natural deodorant, which doesn't completely block pores, allowing your body to continue detoxifying. Here's a tip few people know. While showering, gently massage your armpits. This activates lymphatic circulation, improves immune system function, and can even boost your energy levels. As a bonus, you'll feel lighter, cleaner, and much more confident about leaving the house, being with others, and living with greater pleasure. By the way, if these tips are helpful to you, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment about which country you're watching from. This is how I can better understand how to help you and so many others who refuse to accept aging as an automatic path to decline. Now let's move on to zone number 4, the belly button, the little ecosystem that almost everyone forgets about. You might think your belly button doesn't need any attention. It's right there, in the center of your body, half hidden, without attracting much attention. But in reality, it's like a little world unto itself. In 2014, a curious study revealed that the human belly button can harbor, on average, 67 different types of bacteria. In some cases, more than 100. That's right. A complete micro-ecosystem that most people simply ignore. And why is this a problem? Because this area, if not cleaned regularly, becomes a haven for harmful bacteria, fungi, and dirt buildup that can cause local infections or even spread. And, let's face it, it's not at all difficult to forget about it while bathing. After all, the belly button doesn't hurt, it doesn't itch or bother, until the day it starts to smell bad, get damp, or worse, become inflamed. Caring for your belly button is simple. While bathing, use your fingertips or a cotton swab with warm water and mild soap. Clean gently, especially if it's a deeper area. Then, dry completely with a clean towel. Don't leave it damp. A quick cleanse that doesn't take even a minute prevents discomfort and infections, and reconnects you with this part of your body that, despite being discreet, is full of meaning. The navel structure creates a perfect environment for bacteria to thrive. It's warm, moist, and almost always protected from wind or air circulation. In this small space, dead skin cells, soap residue, and even clothing fibers accumulate, creating a veritable buffet for bacterial colonies. If this area isn't properly cleaned, these bacteria can cause unpleasant odors, skin irritations, and, in more serious cases, even infections that can spread throughout the body. From a health perspective, belly button infections can be especially problematic for older adults. This is because the continued growth of these bacteria triggers an inflammatory response from the immune system, which can become systemic, that is, spread throughout the body. This inflammation can aggravate existing conditions such as diabetes, arthritis, and heart disease. Furthermore, the toxins produced by these bacteria can affect your energy levels and overall well-being, leaving you feeling tired and unmotivated. But caring for your belly button goes beyond the physical. It carries a powerful symbolic meaning. It's your first connection to life, the place where you received your nourishment before you could even breathe on your own. Ignoring this part of your body can, in a way, represent a disconnection from your own life force and the energy that drives your existence. Cleaning your belly button is simple, but requires attention. Ideally, use a cotton swab moistened with warm water and mild soap to gently clean the inside of the area. Don't scrub too hard. The skin there is sensitive and can be easily injured. Remove any residue or buildup, then dry thoroughly with a clean cotton swab, ensuring no moisture remains. If you notice a strong odor or persistent discharge, don't hesitate to see a doctor, as this could be a sign of a more serious infection. We then arrive at Zone 5, the groin, the meeting point between the upper and lower body, where blood vessels, lymph nodes, and nerves essential for your mobility circulate. Neglecting this area goes far beyond superficial hygiene issues. Lack of care can lead to fungal infections, bacterial overgrowth, and chronic inflammation that hinder your ability to walk comfortably and maintain balance. The groin is full of folds that trap moisture and dirt, creating a perfect environment for itching, burning, and constant discomfort, symptoms that limit freedom of movement and compromise quality of life. Recent geriatric studies show that older adults dealing with chronic infections in this area end up reducing their physical activity. This, in turn, accelerates muscle loss, decreases bone density, and dramatically increases the risk of falls. Furthermore, discomfort can affect the way you walk, leading to back pain, hip problems, and overall impaired mobility. For those who prefer a more traditional look, the groin also houses important acupressure points, linked to the circulation of vital energy throughout the body. Taking good care of this area, then, not only improves blood circulation but also increases your energy levels and well-being, both physically and emotionally. Caring for your groin requires special care, as this area is delicate and deserves attention. Always use a mild pH-balanced soap to avoid disturbing the natural balance of bacteria that live there. When washing, pay close attention to skin folds. They accumulate moisture and dirt, creating the perfect environment for fungus to thrive. Afterward, it's crucial to dry everything thoroughly, as any trace of moisture can become a problem. If you know you're prone to these moisture-induced irritations, it's worth using a natural antifungal powder to help keep everything in check. But why does all this matter so much? Because these 5 areas we've discussed aren't just about hygiene. They're key to keeping your body functioning properly, keeping circulation flowing, strengthening your natural defenses, and of course, preserving that confidence of feeling clean, comfortable, and in control of your own body. When you neglect these areas, you're not only opening the door to odors and infections, you're also compromising your body's functioning, harming your energy, vitality, and the autonomy you deserve. Excess bacteria and the inflammation they cause create a cycle of chronic inflammation that, unfortunately, accelerates aging and increases the risk of serious diseases such as heart problems, diabetes, arthritis, and even memory decline. Maintaining good hygiene in these often overlooked areas helps your body heal and strengthen naturally. It can even help you live better, longer, healthier, and more independent lives. Your journey to wellness doesn't have to be complicated, but it does require some attention and constant care. These are basic, simple principles that health professionals sometimes assume you already know, but which, in practice, often go unnoticed. If these tips have given you a new perspective on health, I invite you to take the next step. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Here, the focus is on providing science-based information, especially for those, like you, who refuse to accept aging as an inevitable decline. I want to hear from you too. Leave a comment saying, "I choose global wellness," and tell me where you're watching from. This will help me better understand how to support our global community, full of people dedicated to health. And if you know someone who could benefit from this information, please share this video. Sometimes, a simple gesture can be the boost someone needs to regain vitality and health. Remember, every small choice counts towards your well-being. Knowledge is your best tool for maintaining independence and quality of life. And these 5 areas we've discussed today are just the beginning of what you can achieve when you commit to caring for your body and mind with love. Your health is your most precious asset, and you have far more control over it than you realize. Start today, start small, but start with intention. Your future self will thank you for every care you take now. Stay safe, subscribe, and see you next time.